Hey guys, welcome back to another video on Games Edition. So in the last video I made on the Games Edition channel, it was on this motherboard, the MSI b450MA Pro Max. I'll have that video in the iCard at the top in the right hand corner. So in that video I said I'd put the motherboard inside of a system so that I could show you guys what features it has. For example, in the last video I said it has Realtek audio for people who use wide headphones or a wide speaker setup, as you can see I have. So if you've got a wide speaker setup or wide headphones, then you can take advantage of that Realtek audio, which we'll get into later on. However, I don't think it works with wireless headphones since the motherboard doesn't have onboard Bluetooth, so I don't think it has that. Okay, so first thing we're gonna go take a look at is the BIOS. So I'll bring you guys back once I've got the computer onto the BIOS. Okay, so now it's time to show you guys the BIOS, so let's turn this thing on. Can finally turn the flash off. Look at that RGB. Now for the MSI motherboards, you're just gonna keep on smashing the delete button, and it'll eventually go into the BIOS. And I think we've triggered it. There we are. So we're into the BIOS. Now I would use something like OBS Studio, but the thing is you can't use that to look at the BIOS. So I'm gonna have to film this from the camera. So let's just get a good viewpoint. There we are. Okay, so as you can see, this is the BIOS. There's a CPU frequency, and if you guys are wondering what CPU I'm running, it is the Ryzen 5 3400G with the Radeon Vega graphics. So if you want to see the full build of this PC, I'll have the link in the iCard. And if you want to see my setup, I'll also have that linked in the iCard and the description. Okay, so let's see what things you can do in the BIOS. So obviously you can see the CPU, the gigahertz it's running at, the frequency, all the core voltages, performance boost, what's enabled and things like that. Let's move on to the memory. So as you can see, I've got the current DRAM frequency at 3200 megahertz, and you can also see the storage, so what storage you've got in, and then fan info. Okay, so first thing we'll talk about is how to adjust the fan curve. Okay, so to adjust the fan curve, you're going to click the settings button here. So this is for the CPU fan, by the way. So you'll see these little dots. So if I tap on this dot, it'll show you the temperature at the bottom. So at 0 degrees, it's going to be at 20. It's going to be at 20%, and then as you can see here, at 30 degrees, it's going to go to 40%, and then so on. So you can see here at 60 degrees, it'll go to 76, and then around 70 degrees, it'll go to 100% fan speed. Oh, let's keep that there. So to adjust this, it's quite simple. You don't need to touch anything else. All you need to do is just get one of the dots. So we'll do the first one. So as you can see, it's on 0 there. So if you don't want the fan to kick on at all, you can put it all the way down there. However, at 0 degrees, if you want the fan to just go higher than 20, then you can adjust it here, as you can see. But as you can see, it's only going up to 40. That's because the fan curve, so let me get this back to 20. There we are. So as you can see, because the fan curve is like this, it's not going to let this go any higher. So if you want it just to be on 100% straight away, then you're going to have to get all these dots and put them there. I'll show you now. So should go something like this, as you can see there. That's all 100%, and you can hear it ramping up now. I think you guys can hear that whining now from the fan. Okay, now let's put this back to default. The good thing is you don't have to do it manually. You can just click here, set all to default, and it goes back to default. Oh, I think I had this changed before. So the fan curve I've got it at, I'll have to actually look back at the video for that. However, we'll leave it on this for now. And for system fans, the problem with this motherboard is it only has one fan header, so you can only put one fan in. However, if you're running like if you've got this motherboard and you're running a really small case which only has 1 or 2 fans, it should be fine. Just have your main intake fan connected so you can change the RPM. So as you can see, this is for the one fan header. You can adjust the fan curve here. There should be, so for the fans there's only one of these dots. However, for the CPU you've got multiple, you've got 4 of them. So that's enough about the fan curve. Let's go, let's talk about how you can change the hertz for the memory. Okay, so to change the memory hertz, you're going to have to go to advanced, which is right there. So you can either click on it or click F7. So I'm just going to show you guys. There, you can click on it or you can press F7 on your keyboard. Let's get this to focus. There's F7 and there we are. So you can do either of them. You can press the switch or you can tap with the mouse. So what you're going to want to do is go into settings, go to advanced. 1 minute. There we are. Oh, hang on a sec, sorry guys, it was on OC. So you go into OC and then here you can see all the profiles. So if you want XMP on, as you can see I've got XMP on, which is for the overclocking RAM. So you can see here the CPU ratio is on auto. So I'm going to keep that all on auto, but because we're talking about the RAM. So as you can see here, the Dram Frequency is a DDR4. The stock RAM Hertz is 3200. It is a single module, but it is 3200. So as you can see, if we click on this, you can adjust the hertz of the RAM. So on this motherboard, you can go up to, which is actually quite high from my perspective, you can go up to 5000 hertz, megahertz, which is actually quite a lot. But as you can see, I've just got this on the base because I don't want to mess with any of the settings. However, when you buy your RAM, does this go up? So sometimes when you buy a RAM, this is a trick, which I'm going to tell you guys about. So sometimes when you buy a RAM, it won't be at the frequency that it says it will be at. So on the box, let's say it has the frequency DDR4 3200 megahertz. Sometimes it won't be on the 3200 megahertz. It'll actually be on something like this, 2133. So what you're going to want to do is always go into your BIOS whenever you get a new RAM module, memory module. Go into your BIOS and go into the RAM settings and adjust the frequency to what's specified on the box. Or if you want to, you can overclock it slightly or overclock it a lot, depending on what you want to do, and change the hertz. So that's the RAM. So we're still on the advanced mode, as you can see. That's easy mode, this is advanced. Switch back to advanced. So one of the neat features of this board is, so say if you've got a case which doesn't have a glass panel, or it's really hard to take the glass panel off, it has 4 screws. What you can do to look at the motherboard is it actually has something here called Board Explorer. Let's get this to focus. There we are, Board Explorer. So you can actually see the entire motherboard here and what things it has on the motherboard. So if we go here, it'll show you what is on the rear I/O. There we are. You can see the PS2 ports, the DVI, the HDMI, the USBs, the Ethernet, and the audio inputs. Then you can also see the chipset. Then you can see the USB hub. And then you can see the audio. Oh, actually, it tells you there. TPM connector, front panel audio connector, and comp 1. Then it also tells you what slot you're using. So as you can see, I'm using a DDR4 memory slot. I'm using slot A1, and it's a Corsair module, which is correct. And then it tells you what CPU you're also running. Now this is actually updated because I have an MSI motherboard in my system, which I've currently got in the corner since I'm using this for you guys for this video. So in the old MSI motherboards, especially the Intel ones, it doesn't actually have this, it just shows you a picture. However, this is an updated version, which is really good. So then you've got hardware monitor, which can check everything overall, so you can see the CPU, the system. Doesn't really change, does it? You might need to set this up in the settings. However, that's the CPU stuff, and then system hasn't been changed because it probably needs to be configured. So let's get out of the BIOS and go into Windows and see what other special features this motherboard has. Okay, so now that we're in Windows, I can show you all the other things that come with the motherboard out of the box. So none of these things have been installed. Well, there's only a few things here. So let's go to the Realtek audio that I was talking to you guys about in the previous video. So as you can see, it says there Realtek audio console, and this is actually it's a really clever system, this. So here you can adjust what kind of speakers you have. So you can do stereo, let's say quadraphonic, and then 1.5 speaker and 7.1 speaker. So I'm guessing this is for things like surround sound and things like that. Then you got your virtual surround sound, you've got room correction, default formats, so you can change the format for the volume. And you've got things like, let's see, alright, there we are. So you got things like the environment, so you can change the environment depending on where you are, and it adjusts the speakers, volume and equalizer. And then you've got equalizer here, which you can go fully manual on. So you've got a few settings here. You've got pop, live, club, rock, bass, treble, all the settings. And then if you just want to go fully manual, you can click the button there, and there you are. You can you can do everything yourself, as you can see. Now this isn't an actual configuration, I'm just doing this to show you guys that you can adjust it. Let's put that back to none and turn that off. And then I'm not sure about this setting, I've used it but I'm not sure about it. You can use these different instrument settings here. So if you got headphones on, it turns it to pop. If you're going live, it'll use the live user settings. If you're in a club, you'll use that, but this is for a computer, so I doubt you're going to be there. Then it's got this karaoke setting, and then you can also configure your mic, so you can sort something out with the noise and the acoustic echo cancellation. So you got a lot of things in side of the MSI Realtek audio. And let's see what else this board comes with. So you've got stuff like 3D viewer, which I'm not sure is for this motherboard, or it comes with Windows anyways. Some of the things here I've installed, like Rockstar Games Launcher, Epic Games and Adobe Premiere Rush. That's things I've downloaded, they're not with the motherboard. So one of the things is the Realtek audio. Let's get this to focus again. And what else do we have here? Yep, that's just about it that comes with the motherboard. So let's just have a quick look at the motherboard inside the system. And if you guys want to see the build for this PC, like I said before, I'll have that linked in the iCard. Let's open this. I love that swinging door. So as you can see, there's the system. So in the other video I was talking to you guys about the 4-pin. Now that isn't the 4-pin for this power supply. I did have to buy a connector, because this power supply, the 8-pin sorry, was connected together. You can't actually separate it, so I did have to buy a 4-pin adapter, as you can see. And the 24-pin is just normal, that's just a stock 24-pin. And yes, it's got 4 SATAs in total. You've got place for your USB 3.0, your HD audio. You got a place there for your graphics card, but the client didn't want the graphics card since he's bought this CPU, which has Radeon graphics in it. And you can see there it's got a massive 200mm fan and 120 there. This is the, if you're wondering, this is the Aerocool Atomic M80X case. So if you're just wondering what case this is, that's the name of the case. It's got, the case is actually quite good. It's got, comes stock with this fan and the fan at the rear, but you do have more space for more fans at the top. Comes with a few dust filters and stuff, but we'll make a review on this case later on. Well, that's it for this motherboard, guys. If you like what we do around here, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.